Okay, we're going to start the second parak again. Just wait for Albert. Where is he?
The cherry from the restaurant.
Okay.
The
David, you staying today? Okay, so I'm waiting for you. What? Oh. I don't know. Okay. I told you this was not a joke. No. Remember what happened last time? You see how few words. Sometimes you'll say to me, oh, someone's going to text you later. Delay. Just be prepared. Here's a Gemara from the other Gemara. David, it is David, right?
It's been sealed, actually.
David Ben Seal? Okay, the same. Yeah. He prefers everything. Those are made and yes. Two attacks. Old City, Piskat Zev.
Yehuda was aware of one on the light rail this morning.
That must be, I don't know, one's Old City and the other's Piskat Zev.
This one on the light rail?
12 and a 13-year-old who was one of these culprits.
Kids.
The 13-year-old.
You heard this in the Old City?
What, with knives? What, they use knives? They use knives? It's unbelievable. They should shoot.
They should have killed
They
him.
killed him?
We need to come just a little bit.
Was that the 13-year-old they let go?
No, they didn't let go. They didn't let him go. They shot
They
him.
should take the parents' homes, destroy them, strip them. They should strip every citizen, everything. The parents send the kids. The parents send the kids. No. Unbelievable.
The attack was coming from Europe.
Incitement is coming from the parents. These animals don't have to be incited.
There's an article this morning in the editorial in the Wall Street Journal about
They watch these videos all day long. How to kill Jews.
The Europeans are encouraging this. The Europeans are encouraging this.
Okay. Got to pray for Shmir. Finished. Okay, we're going to start beginning of the second parak again. Yudalit, the Mishnah again. We did the Mishnah yesterday. We're going to start over again. Beginning of the second parak. Okay, we're going to move. Okay. He would bring her mincha in an Egyptian wicker basket. This is considered the lowest of the low. V'nostal yodel, and you put it on her hands, kedei liyago, to make her wary, because we want her to admit that she committed adultery. Right? Like we said last week in the parakah previously, they take her, they pull her by her neck, they tear her clothing, they humiliate her, they unbraid her hair. This is all, she should admit that she committed adultery. So in the first parak we were speaking about, because we don't want the name of Hashem to be obliterated. But over here, Tanam makes another comment. Not because Hashem's name shouldn't be obliterated, but because we want to save her life. Because in fact, if she's guilty, we don't want her to die. So if she admits before, right? So therefore, we put this heavy basket with the mincha on her hands to make her wary that she should admit. All menochos that you bring. It starts with a klisharis and ends with a klisharis. Mishmar is going to ask on this. Zub, however, this one, it starts in this Egyptian wicker basket, and ultimately, when you bring it, it's put into a ministering vessel. All menachos require shemen levona, oil, olive oil. Levona is a spice, which the Gemara is going to ask. There's a certain mincha schote, which doesn't require. This the mincha of the sota. There's no oil. There's no levona. All menachos come from chitim, from wheat flour. Zubah min asor, this comes from barley. Minchas omer afi shebo min asor. Although minchas omer, which is a korban tzibur, comes from sorim, yoisabor geres, zubah kemach, which means it was sifted 13 times. That was the finest and fine. This is what this comes coarse flour. It has all the bran in it. Reb Gamliel Omer Kshem Shemasem Masa Behemo, just as her behavior was the behavior of an animal. Kach Korban Machal Behemo. So the korban that we bring, it's with all the bran, everything. That's the way. That's animal fodder. Tanya Abba Chonan Omer. We learned the Abba Chonan says Bishum Reb Lezer. He says the name of Reb Lezer. V'kol kach lama. Why do we put this wicker basket with the mincha on the hands to make her weary? Kadesh liyago to tire her out, to fatigue her. Kadesh etachzebo, that she should actually admit. What does that mean? If the Torah is so concerned about a transgressor, if you're concerned for her life that she shouldn't die, so you can imagine to what degree Hashem's concerned about people who do His will. Someone asks, what's the proof we want her to admit because we're concerned about our life? Maybe the reason why we want her to admit so we shouldn't obliterate the name of Hashem. Where do we see the Torah is concerned for our life? The reason why we wanted to admit so the Megillah Sotah, the writ of the soul, should not be obliterated into the water. On that the Gemara says, Reb Lezer Ksovar Mashke Vachkach Makriv is Mechosav. That first you obliterated the water. She's at this point she's already drunk the water. And of course, Reb Lezer, you bring the mincha afterwards. Except, however, what activates the water? When you bring the mincha, that's when it's activated. So if she admits, so the name of Hashem already has been obliterated. But if she admits her guilt before the mincha is brought, what happens? Then she's going to live. It's brought, she's going to die if she's guilty. So Mar asks, no, it says, the Megillah already has been obliterated. So therefore, according to Rebbe Lezer, what's the reason why we want her to admit? Because we're concerned that she should not die. Kol Melachos, it says, all Melachos, they start with a Klisharis and with a Klisharis. This starts with the Egyptian wicker basket, it ends with a Klisharis. So says, we wear it in the Braiso. Say to Melachos Ketzad, when you normally bring a mincha, where did it begin? Other maybe mincha b'toch beiso, he bring the mincha, mean the flour that was used from his home, b'toch kalso shel zor kesef zor, baskets made of silver and gold. But what were they? It was not a ministering vessel. It was an ordinary silver or gold basket. V'nosnobs toch klishoris, you put it in a klishoris, umekachim klishoris, and it was sanctified. V'nosel shamno levunosa, and then you add the oil and the Levona. This could be done even by a Zor, Rashi says, even by an Ant-Kohen. And then he brings the mixture in the Klishores, he brings it to the Kohen. Kohen Molicha Eitzel Mizbeach. The Kohen takes it, brings it, Umagisha B'Keren Dromis Marovis. He touches it to the southwestern corner of the Mizbeach. Keneged Chudashel Keren, meaning it was on the corner. V'dayo, the Gemara says, explain what is dayo, and that's enough. Umasalakis Levona. Now the Kohen goes and removes the Levona because when he does the kemitza, that's the palmful, it has to be pure flour. If he has even a sliver of anything other than flour, it's not a valid kemitza. So he removes all the levona, l'tzad echad. The kometz mokum shnisra b'shamna, and he takes the kometz where there's a heavier saturation of olive oil with the flour. V'nosto klishoris, and he takes the kometz, even though it's already been consecrated by the klishoris, the whole mincha, he takes the kometz, puts it into another klishoris, umekachim klishoris, and he sanctifies it again, the kometz and klishoris, umalakidis levonos, now he gathers the levona which was put off to one side, v'nos al-gav, and he puts it on top of the kometz, right, on top of the kometz, umaleu maktirum klishoris, and he goes and he brings it in a klishoris to the mizbeach, umolcho, and he salts it. He puts salt on it, because we'll see in a moment, because all korbanos need salt. It's based on a pasuk. And then he puts it on the fire. After it's salted, he puts it on the fire. Okay? Koriva kometz, after the kometz is sacrificed, shireh necholim, the leftover is eaten by the kohanim. V'rashal kohanim litin tocha yain v'shemen, to spice it, to give it flavor. They're able to add to their yain v'shemen, wine, oil, udvash. Dvash normally means nectar, date nectar. Bein asur and elam chametz. The only thing they're not permitted to is if they add water, because it'll become chametz. They're not allowed. It's nisdoraisa. But what does it say in the brayso we're quoting? Bekalsu shel kesed. The person brings it in silver and gold ordinary baskets. What does it say in the Mishnah? That it starts with a klisharis and ends with a klisharis, Initially, it's brought. It's not a kli sharis,
Right.
right? It's a silver gold basket. Okay. It shouldn't be said. It was bekalim haruyim li sharis. It's a vessel which it's qualified to be a kli sharis. Actually, it wasn't consecrated the vessel, but because it's silver and gold, it's qualified to be a kli sharis. Mechlal. So evidently, if that's the way you're interpreting the Mishnah, the kfifa mitzvah lo chazil, meaning the wicker basket, if you would consecrate it, it's not qualified to be a kli sharis. It has to be made of metal to be kli sharis. If it's made of wood or anything else, it's not qualified to be kli sharis. So evident command, look Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda. This issue of it, could anything other than metal be kli sharis? And machlok Rabbi and Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya, kli sharis she'osen shaleitz. A person makes a kli sharis made of wood. Could it be could it be a ministry vessel? Rabbi Posa. Rabbi says it's not valid. It has to be made of metal. Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda machshir. Rabbi Yossi says no, it's valid. Even so, if that's the case, so why can't the way Rav Papa is interpreting the Mishnah cannot be going like Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, because we're saying a kfifa mitzvah is factually it was not a kli sharis. The gold and silver basket was ordinary. But what does it mean it was kli sharis? It's qualified to be kli sharis. But the wicker basket is not qualified to be kli sharis. So it seems to me the Mishnah is going like who? It's going like Rabbi, not like Rabbi Yossi Yehuda, because Rabbi Yossi Yehuda says that even a wicker basket is qualified to be kli sharis. Mar says no. I feel Rabbi Yossi Yehuda. The Mishnah could be go. So what does it mean? It's not qualified. Amar the Omer Rabbi Yossi Yehuda b'chashuvin. If it's made of wood or made of other material, but it's choshuv, it has a certain status, it's respectful, it qualifies. The b'chusin the Omer, but something which is disgraceful. To bring a mincha something which is disgraceful. Mi Omar, Leslie, Rabbi Yosef Yehuda Kredo v'chasecho. There's a pasuk that says, when you bring something to your prince, is it fit for a prince? Do you bring to Hashem something that's not fit for a prince? So as a result of that, since it's such a disgraceful type of basket, only the lowest of the low use this kind of basket. Therefore, that's the reason why it doesn't qualify. Not because the material doesn't qualify, because just the nature of how inferior it is. That's the reason why it doesn't qualify for the kli sharis. But again, this is all to disgrace her, to give her an understanding what kind of her behavior is so disgraceful. Therefore, it's brought. That's the reason she drinks the water from what? From an ordinary earthenware vessel, right? Also to disgrace her. But no kli sharis, makach kli sharis. Now it's interesting. It says he puts in kli sharis and he sanctifies it in the kli sharis. So it seems to be when he puts it in, he has to have specifically in mind. He wants the kli sharis to sanctify what he's putting inside. So it seems to be, if it would just be put in without that intent, it wouldn't be sanctified. So the Gemara says, Shabbat mino, kli sharis mikachin al midas. Since it says umikachin b'kli sharis, it seems to be you have to have intent. But if you would put it in without that intent, it seems to be, although physically it's b'kli sharis, it won't sanctify it. Amen. So the Gemara says, no proof. Amen knows kli sharis, l'kachin b'kli sharis. It's put there so the kli sharis should affect it. But even if you don't have the intent, if it factually has relevance, it will sanctify it. So it's no proof. No still less shamnu levona. So then you put what is the kli sharis? You add the oil and you add the levona. That's the spice. Shenema, why it's supposed to? The yotzik oleo shemen. You should douse it with shemen. V'nosa le levona. It's supposed to umalichetz el kohen. Then you give it to the kohen. The one who brings the mincha and gives it to the kohen. D'chsiv. Ve'vio el b'nei Aaron. You bring it to b'nei Aaron, so the kohen takes over now. The kohen molichet mizbeach. Now the kohen takes it to the mizbeach and touches it to the kohen d'chsiv. V'gisha eitzel mizbeach. He should touch it to the mizbeach. Magisha, where does he touch it to? To which location? The keren dromis marovis, to the southwestern corner. Connect chudasham. The keren v'dayu. No, what do we know? It's not on the western side, it's not on the southern side, it's on the corner which touches both sides. The Chsiv says in the Pasuk, V'zos Toras HaMincha, these are laws pertaining to Hakrei Voso, B'nei Aaron, who should bring it close to the Mizbeach? L'fnei Hashem. The B'nei Aaron should bring it before it. Now what's L'fnei Hashem? What the entrance to the Heichel. That's the covered sanctuary, was on the west side. So you'd say, so where should it be brought? It should be brought to the western side of the Mizbeach. The side of the Mizbeach that faces the Heichel, correct? V'tanya, we have another pasuk, L'fnei Hashem. It says, Yochel b'maro, maybe it should be on the western side of the Mizbeach. Talmud loma el pnei ha-Mizbeach. Now, what was the pnei ha-Mizbeach? Now, how did you ascend the Mizbeach? Hello? You had a ramp. The ramp was 32 amos. with the Mizbeach and the ramp, the length was 32. It was 32 amos. Now, what side of the Mizbeach was the ramp? On the southern side.
Right.
So it says, so if it's Lefnei Mizbeach, the face of the Mizbeach, that's the ramp you ascend. So that's, what is that? That's on the southern side.
Right.
One pasuk says it should be Lefnei Hashem, that's the western side. Then it says it should be Pnei Mizbeach, it should face the Mizbeach. So it's facing the Mizbeach to the southern side. So is the western side or is the southern side? Iyal Pnei Mizbeach. If you go after the pasuk is the facing the Mizbeach, Yochel Bedorom. So where should you touch the Mizbeach to? To the southern side of the Mizbeach. Talmud Lefnei Hashem, no, it should be on facing the Pnei Hashem. So that's the western side. Okay, so how do you reconcile both psukim? How do you address both of them? Okay, Magish Bekarim Drovis Marovis. So you bring it to the southwestern corner. So you're addressing Lefnei Hashem, which is the west, and also Pnei Mizbeach, which is the south. So they have connected Chudishal Keren V'dayu. It's sufficient. Albert, you with me?
Yep.
Okay, it's clear. Okay, Rebbe Loza Omer. No, this is the Sotah, the Mincha. Rebbe Lozer Omer, Yochel Yashen b'Marov Shel Keren. He says no, you could actually bring it to the Marov Shel Keren or the Roma Shel Keren. Maybe, wait a second, maybe either one. Abrit kol moksh motzi shnei mikros. So if you have two psukim, listen to this. Echod mekayim atzav u'mekayim divrei chaveru. You're able to reconcile that you're able to address both psukim. Ve'echod mekayim atzav vatal divrei chaveru. Or if you do one, you're actually negating the other. Menicha shemekayim chaveru atzav vatal chaveru. Tosne shemekayim atzav mekayim chaveru. So therefore, kshro me lefnei Hashem. So if it says lefnei Hashem, what is lefnei Hashem? B'marovo. So if that's the case, bitloso, el pnei mizbeach. So if it's the west, so how do I address the south? If it's the south, bedorom. And if you're going to address el pnei mizbeach, which is the south, bedorom kiyamto lefnei Hashem ma'irov, right? So how do you do lefnei Hashem? On teitzat. So how do you do it? Magish l'jom shel keren. You bring it to the corner, right? Vehechon kiyamto. So he says, and how have you addressed that? That meaning like this, it's very interesting. The Mizbeach, the question is, was it, which means, was it, the Heichol was in the Heichol is in the western side, right? Now, did the Mizbeach, was it facing the opening of the Heichol? The opening of the Heichel was what? How many amos? It was 20 amos open. There was an opening of 20 amos. So what was it actually facing that? So it was, let's say, exactly in the center. So that means what? That side is the west. The south is the other side. What about if the whole Mizbeach is on the northern side? So if that northern side, so then then the wall, even the southern wall, is facing the entrance.
Right.
You know, if you shift the whole Mizbeach over to the north. You follow? You must have a picture there. If you shift, I don't need the picture. If you shift the whole side over, so then you have the southern wall. Let's say it's shifted over. So even the southern wall sees the opening to the Heichel. So the southern wall is southern because it's the southern side, and it's Lefnei Hashem because it's facing the entrance of the Heichel.
Right.
See, if the Mizbeach is centered in the Mizbeach, in the middle of the Azorah, right in the middle of the sanctuary, so it comes out the south. The southern side of Mizbeach doesn't see the entrance, the opening to the Heichel. Right? But if it's always shifted all the way over to the north, so then the southern side, you have the southern wall, and also the southern wall sees the entrance to the Mizbeach. Mm-hmm. So by bringing it to the southern wall, you're addressing two things simultaneously. Right? It's the south wall, and it's Lefnei Hashem.
Right.
My V'daya, what does it mean? And that's, V'daya means it's sufficient. On Ravash Yitzrich, so Kedai Chamini Tiboy, Hagoshes Mincho Gufa, when it says you should touch the mincha to the mizbeach. Now, does it mean actually the flour, or does it mean the vessel is sufficient? So that's the vessel is enough. You don't have to actually tip it. You know, it's dough in there. You know, you take flour, you mix it with the oil and everything. So it's dough. So maybe you should tip it that the mincha should touch the wall or the mizbeach. No, the vessel itself touching, that's diet, that's sufficient. The aim of Hochanami, maybe yes, maybe the dough of the mincha should touch the wall. Aim of Hochanami, Oba Krov Vikriva Ela Kohen, V'gisha hamizbeach. Right? It says you bring the vessel. The person brings it to the Kohen, and now the Kohen brings it to the mizbeach. Mahakrovo etzel Kohen bechli. Just as when you bring it to the Kohen, it's in the vessel, right? Identical. So when you bring it to the mizbeach, it's not you take it out and touch it to the mizbeach, but rather it's touched the mizbeach in the vessel. As it's brought to the Kohen in the vessel, it's brought to the mizbeach also in the vessel. Then it says before he takes the komets, he shifts the spices off to the side. So when he takes the palmful, it's pure mixture of oil and flour. There's nothing else in there. Because if there's even as much as a sliver of salt or anything else in there, that means it's not unadulterated. It's not unadulterated flour and oil. It's not a valid kometz. No. It's not. He adds that after he takes the unadulterated. Then he takes back the spice, puts it on top. Then he sacrifices. Let's say he takes the kmitza and he finds there's a tzror. Tzror means there's a rock, other than the flour. O gagra melech, or there's a sliver of salt. O koret levono, or a sliver of spice. Possible, it's not a valid kmitza. Kmitza has to be unadulterated mixture of what? Flour and oil. Nothing else could be in that. So therefore he shifts it off to the side, takes the palmful, then he takes it back, puts it on top, and he sacrifices it. The komets, mokashus Rabbi Shimon. From where does he take the komets?
So he takes a new palm.
It's not valid. He has to do it over again.
So he takes that aside and he takes a new palm.
I want to take a new one. Correct. The komets, mokashus Rabbi Shamna. And what? And from where does he take it? From the part of the flour that's more heavily saturated with oil. And it says from its flour, fine flour, and from its oil. So what do we from its oil? Oh, now Maria asks a question. Comes out like this. You take it, the person brings it to the Kohen takes it out, the person takes it out of his kli, his silver or gold vessel, puts it in the kli sharis, now brings it to the Kohen. So it's already put in the kli sharis, it's sanctified. Good. Now the Kohen takes it out of that, so the flour and everything's sanctified. Rashi explains, before you put in the kli sharis, let's say the flour should become contaminated. What's the halacha? You could redeem it. Because it's called kedushas domi. It's only sanctified for its value. Once it goes in kli sharis, it's called kedushas haguf. It's sanctified that it's worthy to put on the mizbeach. Once it already is elevated to the highest level, it becomes contaminated, it has to be burnt. The halacha is once it's kedushas haguf, if you take it out of the sanctuary, it becomes invalidated. Right. If it's only kedushas damim, then you can take it wherever you want. So therefore, the question is, if already it was in the kli sharis, what is the Kohen now when he takes the palmful out? What does he have to put it back in another kli sharis? It already has kedushas kli sharis. It's already been sanctified with the kli sharis, which the Jew put it, which the person who brought it put into kli sharis. What do we need? A double sanctification of kli sharis? That's the first question, right? It says in the Brisa, in the Mishnah, you take it out of one kli sharis. He takes the palmful out of the kli sharis, puts it in new kli sharis. What do you have to put in new kli sharis? Lomalik. Hakitcha charazimno. You already sanctified the first time in the first kli sharis. What do we need a second kli sharis? Everybody following the question? David, you hear the question? But what do you need the second? It's already sanctified, right? On that Gemara says, "Mida de avadam." It's no different than dam. Now, when you slaughter the animal, the korban, what is the nature of the knife? It's a kli sharis. So when you slaughter, when you cut that neck and the blood comes, that you've sanctified all the blood in the animal with kedushas kli sharis. Right. Yet when you receive the blood, in what kind of vessel do you receive it? In a kli sharis. Right. So you see, even though the blood already was sanctified by kli sharis, it's followed with another kli sharis, and that's what you put on the mizbeach. You sprinkle it. So it says, "Bide avadam avagav the kit shosei b'sakin tzavor." Even though the sakin knife, which was sanctified, Rashi says. You see Rashi over here. Rashi. Habi kli sharis. You see Rashi, 2 lines from the bottom. The sakin is a kli sharis. The time you call a kelim shos emosh michos v'kachos v'kavel v'chavdos v'chados. The habi mekarish leik v'kli shemekablo kli sharis k'resiv yos me'agonos. Even though the knife already sanctified all the blood in the animal, nevertheless you receive it again in the kli sharis. Hodemag shlem kli sharis. Hochanami is the same thing. Although all the flour was consecrated in the first kli sharis, When he takes the palmful, he puts in the second klisharis before he puts it on the mizbeach. Okay?
Seems it's different practices, the sacrifice and the flour.
It's the exact same thing. The Gemara says in Svachim that when you bring an animal, how many avodas do you have? Albert, there's a review for you. How many stages of avodah you have? You have shchita, slaughtering. You have kabbalah, you receive the blood. You have halacha, you transport the blood. Then you have zerika, then you sprinkle the blood. Right? 4. You have the flour with the mixture in this klisharis. The taking the palmful is the equivalent of the shchita, and that corresponds to the shchita. You put it into the klisharis, that's receiving the blood in a klisharis. Then you transport that kometz, that palmful, to the mizbeach. You take it out of the klisharis and you put it on the mizbeach. That's the equivalent of zerika. So we find each component of the mincha corresponds to each one of the stages of avodah of a korban, of avodah zadam. Okay, this is Gemara.
What happens if the comments was taken out that wasn't adequate because there was something like the salt? Or
No, so they don't become part of the shirayim. The kohen will eat it. It's not a valid comment.
It doesn't have to be burned.
No, it does not. It's not valid. They'll end up eating that. I mean, you have to take the korat. You have to take either the stone out, or you have to take, because that spice has to be burnt on the mizbeach. They'll have to take that out. They have to lay it to the komets, but they'll lay it afterwards. Here, the problem was the original palmful wasn't a valid palmful. Of course, it has to be unadulterated flour and oil, which it wasn't.
And what's the status of it? When it can't be used?
No.
Eaten by the kohen.
It now becomes part of the shirayim. Right? Shirayim means the leftover. It's only leftover if you've taken a komets. But if the komets wasn't valid, that means it's as if you never took a komets. So you start over again. You go to the other end of it, make sure it's unadulterated. Okay, further. Albert, you got it? Umalakir is levonosir. You gather all the spice, v'nos lagav. You put it on top of the komets, and you sacrifice it. The chsiv, how do we know? It says v'eskol halavona asher al hamincha. It says al hamincha. Take all the komets, the levona, and you put it on the mincha. Which on the mincha? On the mincha means on the komets. Umaleu maktir b'chlisharis. So the Gemara says, "B'klisharis maktale." I mean, what? You put it on the fire with the klisharis, right? You don't, right? You take it out of the klisharis and put it on the fire. Ela maleu b'klisharis. You bring it up to the top of the mizbeach with the klisharis, and then you take it out like tiro. You take it out and then you sacrifice it. You burn it. Umolcha v'nosa gavdishim. Then it says you salt it. You salt it on the fire. The chsiv v'chol korban min choscho b'melach timloch. It's a pasuk. All yimnochos should be salted with salt. Korban mincha, after you've sacrificed the mincha, shiren necholim. What's left over is eaten by the kohanim. V'nolan. How do we know this? How do we know it had the komets has to be burnt before the kohanim are permitted to eat the leftovers? The chsiv v'hikter hakohen es askaroso. It says the kohen should sacrifice the askarosos, the komets. Then it says afterwards, seres min mincha la'aron lebonov. Yeah, what's left is for Aaron and his children to eat. So what is the inference? Korev hakomets. After the komets are sacrificed, then they're permitted to eat it. Now, what's called sacrificed? Does the majority have to be consumed by fire, or as long as the fire attaches itself to it, it starts burning? That's sufficient. So that's a machlokas. It's machlokas amaroim. At what stage, how, to what degree does the fire have to affect the komets to permit the kohanim to eat the shirayim? Yeah, it has to. The majority of it has to be taken. It has to be burning by fire. No, it doesn't have to be fully crisp. Yeah. It has to be burning by fire. Rabbi Yochanan mishetatsis or beruba. No, beruba. Just the opposite. First, it has to be affected. The majority has to be affected. Okay, let's see. Where is it? Rabbi Yochanan is the Isla. Rabbi Yochanan. According to Rabbi Yochanan, even to a small degree, as long as it catches fire, part of it, that's enough. According to Rabbi Yochanan, the majority has to catch fire. Doesn't mean it has to be burned through. The Kohanim are permitted to add. What are they permitted to add? Yayin v'shemen udvash. My time up. Yeah, go ahead.
Where did they cook it? They can't put it on the mizbeach with the bash. So there must be a separate place where they cook it or they make it. Is that right?
They eat it. They eat it as that. They don't cook it. They don't cook it anymore. They don't cook it. First, some of it is, some is baked already. The different types of melachos.
Right.
Some is baked in a shallow pan.
Right.
Some is baked in a deep pan.
Right, but it can't be on the mizbeach. It has to be someplace else.
No, the Shiraim never made it to the mizbeach.
Exactly.
So it's in the Azorah. It's in the sanctuary.
Good. Thank you.
There's a famous Tosus in Zvochim. Now, the Shiraim is Kodesh Kedoshim.
Right.
It's the most. You're not permitted to take it out of the Azorah. You take that out of the sanctuary, it
Right.
becomes possible.
Good.
So they ate it there. Are they permitted to sit when they eat it? Because the Gemara says in Sanhedrin that the only in Kedushin that the only person is permitted to sit in the sanctuary is only if you're from the Davidic line,
Okay, yeah.
right? So, but they were permitted to sit. It's based on this Gemara. Why are they permitted to season it, to eat it, that it should be as tasty as possible? My time in the Omikro lemoshcha. It says in the pasuk regarding. It says lemoshcha ligdula. Okay, let's see the pasuk lemoshcha ligdula down. I got 1 second. It says Seres ben Amincha l'Aaron lebonov Kodesh Kedoshim de'ishesem ve'yidaber Hashem l'Aaron ve'ani hini nosat l'cho es mishmeres trumosai l'chol Kodesh b'nei Yisrael l'cho sati lemoshcha l'bonecha l'cho kolam. The word moshcha, what does it moshcha mean? Anointed. You eat it like an anointed one, like an anointed one.
Oh,
That's gedula. Geder shamlochus. How does a king eat something? Just bland?
Yeah.
No. We're talking about here. We're talking about the seasoning.
Spice,
It has to be seasoned. It has to be as tasty as possible.
Yeah.
And also, for that same reason, that's the reason why they're permitted to sit.
Uh-huh.
When they eat, they're permitted to sit. For the Gemara says over there, what about meat? When they would eat kochim, which was broiled, they would eat it with mustard seed. Mustard. Why? For the same reason. To season it, because it's the same thing, because it's l'moshchel l'gdula, as when you eat something, you don't eat it bland, you eat it seasoned like a king. So for the same reason, that's the reason why they were able to sit in the sanctuary, eat the meat.
They sat right there near the.
And not themselves, they would go sit to the opposite side.
See the altars. I mean,
But they weren't permitted to leave. If they would leave the confines of that area, it becomes puzzle. They're not permitted to eat it outside. Whatever, that was the thing. It can't be something that will cause to become chametz. Anything that would cause to become. Yeah. As long as it's not a disgraceful spice. Maybe certain things would be disgraceful. It has to be an enhancement. Could be cool. Could be. The Gemara says before it could be chulin, but you can't bring it. The problem you can't bring it in the azor if it's chulin. Yeah, it's chulin bazor. There's no shal if it's chulin bazor. Ein asur elam el chametz. You're not permitted to cause the shiraim to become chametz. It's a shmachlok sushonim. No, because the question is you're not permitted something that could be brought as a sacrifice. You can't bring in as in a non-consecrated state. But a spice is not part of this. Is not. It has no relevance to sacrifices. Therefore, that you could, like, you're permitted to go with your ordinary clothing in the Azorah. It's Cholam Azorah. The answer is clothing have nothing to do with Avodah. Right? So a spice which is not, you take an animal which could be consecrated as a korban, that you're not permitted to bring into the sanctuary. Because if that's brought, it has to be brought in a consecrated state. But something which has no relevance to consecration, that could be brought in even though it's not consecrated.
which would be the spices.
Spice, yeah. You want onions. You want to eat your meat with onions. Not a problem. Right? Vidalia onions. Okay? I only said it for Howard.
Thanks.
The chef.
Vein asur el mechametz. How do we know you're not permitted to? The shiraim are not permitted to make chometz. The chsiv lo sofa chometz chelkom. Their chelek should not be baked chometz by adding water. You're causing it to be chometz. Amr Shimon Lokish. I feel chelkom. Rish Lok says even their share, which is the shirayim lo sofa chometz, even though the chometz already was sacrificed, doesn't make a difference. Kol ha-menochos. So it says all menochos in the Mishnah have oil and levona, except for minchas sofa. So, more nice question. Chol mochs tunas shemen. I have we can minchas chote. What's minchas chote? The mincha of a sinner. What happens if a person makes a false oath? If a person in office takes an oath regarding he knows testimony, you have to bring a korban. So there are 3 levels of korban. If you're a wealthy person, you bring an animal. If you're mediocre, you bring a bird. If you're impoverished, you bring flour. The flour has no oil in it. So what does the Mishnah say that which korban doesn't have oil or spice? It's only the korban of the sotah. You have minchas chote. It's more question. Where you come minchas chote, the Rachmana Amra lo yosem le shemen liter le levona. It also doesn't have oil and spice. So why does the Mishnah say only Minchas Sotah doesn't have oil and spice? Holy comrade. So Mercer, this is what the Mishnah is saying. Kol ha-menochos tuno shemen u'levona. All menochos have oil and spice. Ubos menachitim. And also, what is they're made of? Wheat flour. Ubos solas. And they come made of the finest flour. Minchas Sotah, afal pi she'eino tuna shemen levona. Although the Minchas Sotah doesn't have oil and spice, bo minachitin, it's made of wheat flour, ubo soles, and the finest wheat flour. Minchas Omer, the communal offering of Omer, api shibo minasorin, although it's not wheat, it's barley, tuna shemen levona. That you added oil and spice, ubo geris, and it's only after it's been sifted 13 times. Zuena tuna lo shemen, but the Minchas Sotah doesn't have not oil, not spice, ubo minasori, and ubo kemach. It's made of barley, and it comes kemach, the most unrefined flour. Tanya, Amr Shimon, bedinhu sheyitehei Minchas Sotah tuna shemen levona. You hear this? Truth, person takes a false oath. And really, for atonement, he should really have to bring a mincha because it's more costly. If you just bring flour, it's less costly. You have to bring in addition oil and spices, more costly. Shlo yechoti niskar comes out, he's getting away cheap. I mean, here you did the wrong thing. It should cost you in the pocket. Right? Tuna. So why is it? Do you not bring the oil and spice? Because it's to communicate. Because that means he's bringing a glorified type carbon. You know something? You don't deserve that. We don't want you to look good. You understand? You have to understand where you're at. Person inadvertently eats chelef. You have to bring chatos. So most carbonis needed what? Libations, wine libations. So he brings a chatos, doesn't bring the libations. The carbon's no, it's kosher, but it's less costly. So it comes out, right? So why doesn't the chatos come with the sochim? Like carbon muhuder also, it shouldn't be enhanced carbon. What about the chatos that a mitzorah and the oshim that he brings? So a mitzorah is not a sinner. He's a leper. Tuna and the sochim, because it's not for a chet. It's a question. Because we all know what does a person become a leper? Because he spoke lashon hara. So it is a sin. The Gemara says there's 7 reasons why a person becomes a leper. So if that's the case, it is a sin. No, he was already atoned with what? With his tsaras. That he was an outcast, he was a pariah, he was outside the camp. That was the kapora. So what does he have to bring the korban? The bring of the carbons to qualify him to be able to eat kochim. That he was already atoned for what's his name, for the lashon hara and the envy and whatever he had. That was the suffering. So what a chatos nazir? What is a nazir's chatos? A nazir brings a chatos. What doesn't he have to have libations? Even the nazir is a chote. So Tosfos points out over here, we're talking about over here, there's a Nazir Tor. In Nazir we have, it's a Chote. Why is the Nazir called a Chote? Because it becomes contaminated. He regrets that he ever got involved. But here we're talking about, this is the regular Nazir. It says the regular Nazir should have to bring Nesochim. It's not a sin. The answer is, it's going like Reb Lazar Kapper, that it is sinful. Because to deny yourself wine, you have no right. Hashem said wine's permitted. What are you becoming more religious? You don't have to be so religious. Reb Leil Omer, Reb Leil says that what? That why does she drink? Right? Is that Reb Leil in the Mishnah? Yeah. Reb Leil adds. He says just as her behavior was the behavior of an animal, the makeup of the korban is animal fodder. Reb Leil Omer, Tanya Omer Reb Leil Chamim. So from Hanichul V'Yishenu. Allow me, Chacham stands. I want to explain this whole discussion. So Rashi says, you know how you say button in a button in Old French? How do you say a button? A clasp. Button. Rashi says if you want to close a garment at the neck from both sides, it's called a button. Your button is closed. Okay? I mean Rashi in Kedushin, when he says Chomer, you know what Chomer means? In the olden days, a woman, how would she wear perfume? Albert, how would you shave? She had a little packet, and she would wear a string around her neck, and the packet contained fragrance. And that's how she perfumed her body. Like this, first it didn't evaporate. The person puts perfume on their skin, just between the sweat and the being exposed there, it evaporates it. But here you have this packet you wear, it continues to give off fragrance. That's how Rashi explains Chomer there. Here he says, like a button, like a gold button, okay, like a gold clasp. The Shamador Meir, the Kama, here Madani Melech. It says, what's the Mida Keneged Mida, right? She fed him what? The delicacies of Madani Olam, the delicacies of the world. Lefichoch Karbona Machol Behema. That's the Mida Keneged Mida. Omar Lehotene Chashiro. So if the adulteress was a wealthy woman, she ordered it from who knows where, right? But Aniyah, she doesn't even have a credit card, this woman, right? So where did she order in from? So she fed him what? She fed him the dregs, right? The answer is just as she behaved like a behemoth. That's why even the Aniyah who commits adultery, the poor woman, that's the reason why the makeup, the ingredient of the korban is animal fodder. Okay? The cup of water that she would drink from was an earthenware vessel. Rashi says, Kos shel mayim. How much water you put into this vessel? 8 ounces of water. That's a half a pint. And where did the water come from? In a kior. That means it was sanctified water. It was taken from, the kior was a klishores. So the water was a half a pint of sanctified water. If you don't know, Revius, only 4 ounces. Now why? Because Rabbi Yehuda says there's a question, how much of the Megillah Sotah, how much is contained under that? How much do you obliterate? Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that it's a shorter version. The Tanakh holds it's a little more lengthy version. So if the version is more lengthy, there's more water. Rabbi Yehuda says we minimize the size, what we write. So just as the Megillah Sotah is less, the water is less. That's how you remember Rabbi Yehuda's position is less. Nichlas lahechel, so the Kohen goes into the sanctuary. What's the hechel? Is the covered sanctuary. Ufana limino, and he goes to the right. Umokem hoyusham amalama. Now, what was the floor of the Beis Mikdash covered with? Tablets of marble. Okay, what was under the marble? Earth. Right. So what would be if you'd want to lift up a tablet? How would you lift it up? It wasn't so simple. So today, they have suction cups. You put it in, you pull it up. Right. But this tablet, it had actually a metal handle attached to it, so if the Kohen would have to lift it up, he'd grab onto this handle, he'd lift it up, because he has to take the dirt from the floor of the sanctuary to add to the water. So on the marble, there's no dirt, right? So he has to lift it up, and under that tablet, he takes some of the dirt, and he adds it to the water. We'll see. There was a tablet, marble tablet, was an amabeh of tablo shel shayish, and there was a tablet of shayish made of marble. The tabas and there was a ring attached to it. And he would pick it up with that ring, and he would take the dirt from under it. And he would put it and he put a certain amount that it wouldn't immediately intermingle with the water, it would float on top of the water. How do we know? It doesn't say ba'mayim, elamayim. That means it's noticeable, floats on top of the water. Tana. We learned in the Bryce, Filu shel cheres chadosha divrei b'shmoil. It has to be a brand new earthenware mug. Earthenware means not glazed. Yeah. Never used before. That's Rabbi Shmuel. My time to Rabbi Shmuel. Goma kli kli min mitzora. We learn Xereshava from mitzora. Ma lahalon cheres chadosha. Just as it says over there when they dip the birds into the blood with that, it's a new earthenware vessel. Afkan cheres chadosha b'osem nolan. How do we know that mitzora, for his ritual, you need a new earthenware jug? You should slaughter the bird into the water in this kli cheres al mayim chayim. There's water from a wellspring. Just as the water is drawn water. The water was not used for anything else. It's the first time it's being put in the vessel. Identically, it's a vessel that was never used before. Smar says, if we're learning that, so if that's the case, maybe the water that you use for the sotah should be well water. It shouldn't be water from a mikveh. Smar says, Rabbi Shmuel hochanami, his ein hochanam, Rabbi Shmuel, the water that you put in the kli cheres has to be from mayim chayim. Don't Rabbi Yochanan make kiyor. Rabbi Shmuel omer mayim nayin. The water that was in the kiyor, as we had the Mishnah in Yuma. They had a pulley system. Every night they would lower it into the ground, and they had an underground spring, and the water of the kiyar would equalize with the spring water, and as a result, it didn't become possibilina. Because if you leave the water in the kiyar until dawn, it becomes invalidated. Rahamom Misham name is saying, no, you could use even mikveh water. If you tell me that the reason why you need a kli cheres chodosh is because you learn from the Tzorah, Malam Tzorah Ton Eitz Erev Bezo Vishni Toldos. So what by the Sotah you should also need that. You need in that ritual you need cedar wood. Azov is lie growing grass, and you need a crimson piece of cloth. So maybe you should need that by the Sotah too from the Gzer Shava. Kli kli. Amarabba Omakra big kli cheres. It says big kli cheres. Kli shamarti l'chvar. It says you should put it in the kli. Which kli? The kli which is discussed elsewhere. So just as the kli by Mitzorah is a new kli, so it's only regarding the kli. It's not the Gzer Shava. Originally, once it's based on this, it's not a Gzer Shava. Omar Rava lo shonu elo shel nisachmu ponov. Here, avon nisachmu ponov psulin. He says, what happens if the vessel was so used, it already became darkened? Because we're talking about it's unglazed. So it becomes so absorbed, it's darkened. But if it's not, it's psulin. My time, just as the water, let's say the water was sitting and became stagnant and already turned colors. You can't use it. You can't use it for the Meisota. As long as the vessel, it's okay if it was used, but as long as it doesn't change colors from the usage. Boy Rav, now an interesting shayla. Let's say the kli was invalidated because it already turned colors from its usage. There's zero tocha kivshon. God, what do you want?
Why is it turning color? It's only used once. It's new.
No. According now, if you hold, it doesn't have to be new. That's Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel says it has to be a new vessel.
Okay.
Others hold doesn't now. Even if it doesn't have. What about if it's been used so often it's already turned colors? Then you can't. Now, what about now? It was disqualified. Now you want to put it back in the kiln. So the kiln is actually going to burn out. Is going to vaporize everything that's absorbed in it. So when you take it out of the kiln, it's going to look like a brand new vessel. Is it reinstated? Do we say once it's been disqualified, it cannot be brought back? Or do we say, no, it's not a problem? That's the Gemara Shaila. Boy, Rava. What?
The kiln becomes hardened. It's no longer a plain earthenware vessel.
No. Earthenware vessel, it's after the kiln. In the kiln.
It's after.
Sure, otherwise it's soft clay. It's only hardened after it's been put into the kiln. Okay? You know, in the 92nd Street Wide, they have a class in pottery. They'll teach you how to do it. Boy, Rava. Nisachmu v'chziru l'tochivshanu eish v'nislabnu, and it was whitened. Do the problem. Now, mi amin came d'itchu. Do we say once it's been disqualified, it's disqualified forever? Odila came d'odu. Since you brought it back, it's reinstated. Toshma. Rabbi Loza Omer eitz erev ezo v'shni tolos. Shehipshil b'hen kuposo lachorov. What about he took these various things and he carried his box, his bag behind him? Right? He attached it, so it was used. Psulit. What happens? When you use it, it becomes all stretched out, right? I've also haji mifshi, you're able to straighten that afterwards. Hasam iklufi. Over there, you know what happens to the wood? It has a bark on it. So if you have it on your back, from the movement, it actually gets scraped. That can be reinstated. I'll just take 2 more seconds to just get it. Nichlas te'echol ponil. He goes into the hechol, the Kohen goes to the right. My time, what does go to the right, what does it go to the left? I'm not going to cost it's more it's vochim. Any direction you go in the base of Migdash, you always go to the right. On the Mizbeach, you walk up the ramp, you go to the right. So here he's going into the Hechol to get the dirt, you go to the right, not to the left. To be continued.